guys, welcome to the Throwback IT show where we take you on a walk down memory lane with the tech that you and I grew up with. This week, Motorola announced the Moto G availability in Malaysia. Moto G, if you don't know, is a rather incredible sub $1,000 phone. It could be one of the best sub $1,000 phones we've seen on the market. This isn't the first time in history that Motorola have come up with a winning phone. So we decided to go back to a time where Motorola was releasing some alright, not very remarkable phones. They did okay, you know, StarTech, you know, way back then, but nothing truly groundbreaking. But little did we know that in 2004, they would come up with something like this. This is the Razr V3. The Razr V3 at that time was the single sexiest phone on the market. I don't think there was any flip phone, any phone which just turned heads like this when it was announced and released. This phone challenged people's preconceived notion that, hey, you want to get a phone? You gotta get a Nokia, you know, because nobody else nobody buys anything else than Nokias. So what's so special about the Razr V3? The Razr V3 was the first phone to come out with a fully anodized aluminium body, which made it really light and really sexy. I mean, the camera wasn't very remarkable as a VGA camera, 640 by 320 I think. Battery wasn't great. It was not the specs. This phone was on the top of everyone's wish list purely because of how it looked. It could close like that, you can fit it in your pocket really easily, and you know what? I'm still a sucker for flip phones. I wish there was a really good flip phone where I could just answer the phone like that. I mean, you look immensely cooler than just taking out a phone and it's going like that. So the Motorola RAZR V3, another one of the features that a lot of people liked in this was this rear screen. Of course, it wasn't the first phone with a rear screen, especially the flip phones. I recall the T720 had a rear screen as well, but it's a very thin strip LCD. This one was a proper screen, you know, you could see the name when it was calling, you know, whoever was texting you, and of course, who could forget the signature Motorola ringtone? You know, the Hello Moto one? You know what, we'll get it and play for you now.
Hello Moto.
All of you guys know this, don't lie. So the Motorola RAZR V3 came in various different types. Like there was the Dolce & Gabbana one, I think it was gold. There was a black one which might be called the RAZR V3X, I could be wrong, which is a better screen. There were many variations of this phone, just simply because of how successful it was with Motorola.
The Motorola RAZR V3 came out in the third quarter of 2004 and weighs in at a really light 95 grams, which is lighter than a lot of phones now, and it came in 13.9 mm thin. When you open it up, it's thinner than that, and let's put things into perspective, it's actually thinner than a lot of smartphones these days. The RAZR V3 came with a decent screen, it's a TFT screen, 176 by 220 pixels, and with a front one of 96 by 80 pixels. The RAZR V3 also had quite a small battery actually. It was a 680 mAh battery, which gave you up to about 7 hours of talk time if you could get that. Fast forward to the next year, 2005, the first quarter saw the Motorola RAZR V3X, which gave a better screen, which was higher pixel density, you know, better resolution. Finally, they got polyphonic ringtones, and the battery was improved slightly, but the talk time and all that would be decreased because of the screen. Also, the V3X looked a lot more fierce. It was black, it had the silver inside, and it still was a decent weight. It was heavier, but it was about 20 mm thin, which was pretty decent closed. And it had polyphonic ringtones. Yeah. So the next one that was released is the Motorola RAZR V3i, which was released in 2005 November. And in 2005 November, it was not a very major upgrade. It was more of an upgrade to the V3 rather than the V3X. I would call it an in-betweener from the V3 and the V3X. It had a better camera, it had a better screen. Talk time went down a little bit, but that's to be expected because of the screen. So the next phone in that family was the Motorola RAZR Max V6. The Max V6 was released in 2006, July to be exact. I don't think it really stayed completely true to the original, because you know what, it kept getting thicker. But of course it did. If you squeezed in all of the technology that was available at the time, you know, HSDPA, the screen was improved, camera was improved, and you know what, it's a little bit more modern than the old V3, which was already, I guess, 2 years old. It was actually quite a decent phone. It wasn't as popular, but it was still pretty decent. So around the same time as the previous handset, Motorola also released the RAZR V3 XX. As you can see, they're really pushing it now with the constant re-releases of things. The V3 XX stayed truer to the V3 kind of a silhouette, but it just improved a lot of the features inside. Example, there was HSDPA for up to 3.6 megabits. But in all honesty, who had that at that time? So starting in May 2007 was the birth of the RAZR 2 family, with the RAZR 2 V9. Of course, there's going to be the V8 and the V9X. This was a much more modern phone than what we're used to with the RAZR V family. But unfortunately, this time was also the time where the smartphone wars were heating up. The Apple iPhone, the original one, was released in 07 or 08 if I'm not mistaken. So the original iPhone was released in 2007 or 2008. So Motorola's stranglehold, well, or relevance actually, was rapidly dwindling. Unfortunately, it came latest. The last model of the RAZR 2 V9X came out after the iPhone, and by that time, nobody wanted anything except an iPhone. Of course, fast forward, Motorola had recently revived the RAZR moniker with phones like the RAZR Max, but unfortunately it was never the same as the good old RAZR V3 that we all know and love.
So to wrap things up, the Motorola RAZR V3 was an iconic phone, a truly iconic phone in that time, you know, 2004. It wasn't the age of a pretty smartphone, but this was the first purely pretty smartphone, which was decently functional. I mean, you can talk about the luxury phones, the Nokia 8810 and all that. Yes, they were pretty, but this was next level. This wasn't as expensive as the 8810, you know, the 8800, on any of those luxury high-end phones. This was, if I remember correctly, it was a flagship phone of sorts. I would really like to see if anyone could bring the flip phone form factor back, because you know what, I really do think that this is something that shouldn't die. I know that a couple of people have tried it, but a smartphone is really difficult to do it in a flip form factor. But maybe Nokia Asha, you know, something with a lower end could be a flip phone. I really do miss it. If you guys used a flip phone, if you guys used the V3, please tell us your stories and everything that you miss about it in the comment section below. I'm talking about the V3, V3X, V3i, Max, V6, the V3 XX, all of that. You know what? Just leave us a comment in the comment section below. Please don't forget to give us a like if you enjoyed this look back at one of the greatest phones in history, in my opinion. Ultimately, please don't forget to subscribe to Lowyat.tv, because you know what? Without your subscription, it's really hard for us to make amazing content. Also, you will get the latest and greatest videos from our channel right into your feed as soon as we upload them, even before we post them. So yeah, please do go on and subscribe to Lowyat.tv. Share the video if you think that you have friends that, you know, have been using this phone, you know, and if you want to just talk about the old times again, just please share this video as well. So until next time, thanks for watching guys, and see you later.